right, this is part two of how to integrate BlackBaud with G Suite. The first video I just looked at attaching documents from Google Drive. Now I'm going to look at using Google Assignments. So you might be asking, Google Classroom? No, Google Assignments and Google Classroom are different. Think of it like this. If you were to remove everything from Google Classroom, except for the ability to post work, grade work, and give feedback, that is Google Assignments. The idea here is that some schools want to use a system like BlackBaud to organize their information, to use different types of calendars, and to maintain courses that can roll over year to year. I'm not certain if people are aware that rolling Google Classroom content over isn't as easy as it is in things like PowerSchool, BlackBaud, etc. Those systems are designed to create a historical snapshot and then let you take what you've made and push it into the next academic year, so you're not always redoing all of your work. I think a good rule of thumb is that any course that's running probably should revise 20 to 30% of the resources and topics every year, but around 70 to 80% stay the same until there's a massive curriculum change. Most schools do a curriculum review every 3 to 5 years, so you don't really want teachers spending all that time rebuilding every year. So using a system like BlackBaud, you can set your courses up and then you can roll that over. The problem is that when you get into using systems like BlackBaud, some of the assignment features and the feedback features, they are well behind systems like Google Classroom, which were built in the cloud, I would say, feedback first and everything else later. And they're integrated really, really well with the G Suite. So all of those features in Google Docs that people enjoy using are all there. And that's obviously owned by Google, and if you're using Microsoft like OneDrive or Office 365, you get a similar experience, and that's owned by Microsoft. So it's not like BlackBaud PowerSchool can just go in and replicate all those features. So what they've done is they've partnered and they allow these integrations. Now, if you're asking, how can I get these integrations to work? That's coming next. So first video was the easiest thing in the world, using the Google Drive integration. A lot of schools already have it. It's very easy to install. The Google Assignment integration, pretty easy to install, but there are a few things you need to know. So I'm going to make a separate video about that, so don't worry. Right now, I just want to show you how it works. And we're going to do the teacher perspective, and we're going to do the student perspective. Now, I'm using BlackBaud. I'm using the OnSuite product. I'm assuming you know how to make an assignment in BlackBaud. If you don't, that's something that I'm not really covering here. So BlackBaud has great information about that. Feel free to look that up. And if you do need a tutorial, you can email me and I'll make you one. All right, so I'm making an assignment as a teacher, and I have put in all of the basic information. It's all fake. I added demo as my abbreviation because even though it's fake, it's going to show up in the gradebook, and this is a live class. And I'm testing it with a live class and a fake student in a live class, so I can have the best possible experience and also the best possible simulation. So I'm going to go down here, and where it says Associated Learning Tool, I'm going to put Google Assignments. You leave this alone, and I only have one section, so I'm going to hit save. All right, now I'm going to open this up as the teacher, and you'll see as the teacher it says Launch Google Assignments. Now the first time you do this, Google Assignments asks you for permission. After that, it's fine, but you do have to give permission. So here's the Google Assignments interface. All right, nothing is submitted yet. There's nothing for me to do. All right. Now let's swap over to the student view. Okay, I am back here at the student view. You can see that here's the student's assignment, and this is normal within BlackBaud. This is what students see. Here's the assignment detail, and you would have the resources and other information here. Now you have a new option, Google Assignments Launch, and I'm going to hit that. Again, the first time you do this, you have to link the data. I am not showing that step. I don't like to show email addresses and other information if I can avoid it. It's very easy. It asks you, do you want to link it? You hit OK, you hit link, and it's done. All it's really doing is allowing the student to access their Google Drive on your domain. There's an option when students link to choose a different account. Obviously, you want them to use their school account. If you are running your G Suite with private accounts, I would highly recommend against that. And if you're having some issues getting G Suite set up and that's why you're doing it, again, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to help. So as a student, here's my demo. This is not real, so hopefully the students in the class won't freak out when they wake up this morning and notice that I've posted another assignment. I'm going to hit Add Files, and it opens my Google Drive as a student, and I'm going to attach this file. And then I'm going to hit Submit. So I've already done my work in Google Drive. I've already written my answers, etc. And that would generally be the model I would recommend. You always want students to kind of separate their content from the system. So when you enter information directly into a system, like into like a box, like some type of content box, the student doesn't really have a copy of that. I mean, I guess they can get one, but they don't have a copy that they've written, checked, proofread. Maybe they're using a system to help them check for grammar. All of that would be more difficult in one of those content boxes. Also, when you ask Google Assignments to create content for you, that's fine. You can hit create content, it will save it to your drive, but you still are doing it on the fly with the assignment system open. The ideal workflow is that you get the assignment you're supposed to do, and then you use your Google Drive to arrange the documents, arrange the information, do your research, store it all in a folder for the course or the assignment or both, finish the work, and then upload your final copy or your final draft. That is a better workflow. Doing everything in just the assignment system, or doing everything just in Google Classroom, or doing everything just in the, like if you use Canvas, just in the Canvas like content box, that is going to lead to more problems. Any of these systems can have a problem. They can time out, your network can shut off, any number of things can happen, and then you lose all of your work. But if you're working in Google Drive or OneDrive and you have offline documents saved, or even if you don't, most of the time you're still all right because the text is there in front of you. You could copy, paste it, and save it into another document. You're fine. Your work isn't going to get lost. I have had students work like directly in a Google Classroom before, and they worked for like an hour or two, and then all of a sudden it didn't save. Doing it with a separated workflow makes a lot more sense. Okay, the student can unsubmit it if they want to add something else or make a change, but the work is submitted. So now let's flip back over to the teacher side and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm back here on the teacher side to review what the assignment submission looks like. And this is the first assignment I've taken, so Google is giving me some information. It's walking me through the options. Originality reports. I believe that these are going to be fully functional only under G Suite Enterprise. I have just completed the upgrade to G Suite Enterprise. It is not approved yet. I will be checking this out to see if it is as good as, better than, or worse than Turnitin. If it is similar to Turnitin and gets the job done, we probably would be looking at not continuing with Turnitin, because most people are only running originality reports, and as you know, if you're not using Turnitin to manage your documents, this just makes a lot more sense and it's a lot easier. Also, I like how you can easily show to students that everything is going to be checked right inside of Google. There's not really any excuse. Once it's uploaded, it gets checked. All right, you can add rubrics, you can set a due date if you want to, but remember, a lot of this stuff is already set up in BlackBaud. You've already built all this in BlackBaud, so you don't need a lot of these features. So I'm going to open the test students document. They're a huge Star Trek fan, so it looks good to me. I'm going to give them 100 out of 100. Great work. So return is interesting, and I noticed this in Microsoft Classroom as well. You're returning the work to the student, but it makes it sound like you're rejecting it, but you're not rejecting it. You are simply just saying, the grade's done. Now, once you're in here though, you have comments that you can leave. So you can go through and annotate and mark up the work, which I really like. You are basically in Google Docs. So if you want to highlight stuff, you can do that. You've got all of those features. You can put links in, like, did you check this reference? You can do that. So you've got the overall feedback, but at the same time, you've got this document level feedback, which doesn't go to BlackBaud, doesn't get saved anywhere except inside the document. But I think it's a really good way to provide quick feedback to students. And I do go back to looking at the metadata studies of John Hattie and how important feedback is. And the big thing about feedback is it needs to be timely and it needs to be digestible and usable. So writing a large feedback paragraph is great, but if you can go through quickly as the teacher and just flag this up and then send, check feedback here, or good job, but look at your feedback, you've been more efficient and the student can start working on those points one by one. Okay, we're back in the Google assignment view inside of BlackBaud. This is the teacher view. I've hidden the other students. I'm just going to show you the fake student here. You'll notice that I put in a grade on the Google assignment side of 100 out of 100. That translated back over here to 10 because the total points available were 10. So that totally makes sense. I've been using flat grading. I have not tried this with grade weighting. I think if you're doing standard grade weighting with like 3 to 5 categories, it would be fine. If you're doing fractional grade weighting or doing something strange with your calculation, I would definitely test it and check it and make sure Google is when the information is being sent back, nothing is being messed up. But it seems to work pretty well. And again, the students can get their feedback in the Google assignment, but their actual data is updated back here. And this is what goes on the report card. This makes transcripts. If you're thinking, oh, well, why is that important? I have a video that I will link after this video is done, it will be linked so that you can learn all about school information systems and how they're different from learning management systems and how managing your data and grades is really, really important. And thinking that you can run your school off of something just like Google Classroom is a huge mistake. Until next time, and if you need any help, please reach out.